right, joining us now, Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP, Vaibhav Purandare, senior editor TOI and author of Bal Thackeray and the Rise of Shiv Sena, advocate Kapil Madan, a political analyst, Manojit Mandal, also political analyst, and Brijmohan Srivastav, national spokesperson of the NCP, will be joining us along with Chandra Shekhar Jha in just a bit. But let me start by asking you, Sanju Verma, because most people are saying that you've done a dirty one on Devendra Fadnavis. Why?
You know, Padmaja, this may sound very cliched, but for the benefit of your audience, let me tell you the BJP's motto, and this becomes all the more important ahead of the National Executive meeting in Hyderabad, starting this Saturday. Nation first, party next, individual last. I know you have that smile on your face. I'll just say this, Padmaja, you know, this whole narrative, CM बनने के बाद फिर, you know, how can you be a deputy CM? You know, जो आदमी एक बार क्लास मॉनिटर बन जाता है, फिर आपको डेप्यूटी क्लास मॉनिटर बना देते हो. I have to say this thing. When BJP takes a decision, and I mean the top leadership, the few things that are immediately on their mind are long-term gains, not instant gratification. And if you look at, our political strategy, be it in Uttarakhand, be it in Karnataka, be it Maharashtra, we've always played for the long haul. Point number two, I think in your introduction, you summed it up very aptly when you said, by elevating Eknath Shinde to the post of Chief Minister. And I say by elevating because, of course, we are the party with standalone 106 seats. So without our concurrence, this would not have happened. Okay. So I'm not making any bones about that. By elevating Eknath Shinde as the Chief Minister, we've actually given a larger message. हम सत्ता के पीछे नहीं थे. Point number one. Point number two, we have actually given legitimacy to the real Sena, which has appropriated Bala Saheb's legacy. Okay. Point number three, this is checkmate for Uddhav, Thackeray and company. And I'll finish by saying one thing. You know, all those who are saying, you know, BJP ने master stroke खेला है, some saying BJP ने compromise किया है. तो इतनी बात याद रखिए, वो जो हिंदी में कहावत है ना, बड़े बेआबरू होकर तेरे कूचे से हम निकले, बड़े बेआबरू होकर तेरे कूचे से हम निकले, बड़े अरमान मेरे निकले, फिर भी कम निकले. This is for Uddhav.
बहुत निकले मेरे अरमान, लेकिन फिर भी कम निकले. Okay, let me take this across to Chandra Shekhar Jha.
झांक कर देखिए.
बहुत निकले अरमान, लेकिन फिर भी कम निकले. Chandra Shekhar Jha.
Let me first tell everyone that what we are dealing today is the Chief Ministerial post of Mr. Eknath Shinde and demolition of BJP. So basically what is happening today is that the BJP has demolished themselves to give or to take power in the government and nothing else. Now, the thing is that Mr.
But sir, I just want to understand, are you saying the BJP has grabbed power or the BJP has stiffed Devendra Fadnavis of power? Because 50% of people are saying that poor Devendra Fadnavis, he has been deprived of power. The other 50% are saying, oh, the BJP is so greedy, they have lunged at power. So is BJP taking power or losing power? First, let's just decide that.
See, demolition of BJP has started. I will say that because the demolition, why it has started, you have to see, because Devendra Fadnavis in 2019 told everyone that I will be back, and he is now back as a deputy chief minister, not the chief minister.
So that being said, since you are quoting people, 4 days ago, Uddhav ji said that जो एक नाथ थे, अब एक दास हो गए. वो तो एक नाथ ही रहे, चंद्रशेखर जी.
ऐसी बात नहीं है.
वो तो दास नहीं है. आपको लग रहा था वो दास हो जाएंगे, वो तो एक नाथ हो गए.
वो तो समय बता ही देगा. देखिए,
जिनको किनारे करके मुख्यमंत्री बने थे उद्धव जी, आज वो मुख्यमंत्री है 2.5 साल बाद.
Let me tell you, history has to repeat. So we will also wait for the history to be repeated.
Exactly how?
Now, the history has to repeat. That is the Indian politics.
Sir, which history? Our politics is full of history. Which part of history will be repeated, Mr. Jha?
See, today everyone is saying that Shiv Sena is finished. The BJP or any other person is saying the Shiv Sena is finished. There are two different...
No, they're not saying Shiv Sena is finished. They are saying the Thackerays are finished. Shiv Sena is with Eknath Shinde.
No.
Nobody is saying Shiv Sena is finished.
Making a false claim does not give that concurrence that Shiv Sena is finished.
Okay, quick rebuttal, Sanju Verma. Quick rebuttal, Sanju Verma.
Okay. You know, a very quick rebuttal, Padmaja. You know, Padmaji, what makes this entire breakaway of Eknath Shinde and the 39 or 40 odd MLAs with him from the Uddhav Thackeray camp, what makes this very important is the fact that look at the kind of people who've left. I'll just take 30 seconds. You have been covering this on your channel. Eknath Shinde has been an MLA 4 times consecutively. He was the guardian minister of Thane. He was a corporator in Thane. He's the strong man of Thane. But look at the others who've left. Gulab Rao Patil, the water and sanitation minister. Uday Samant, the higher education minister. Look at people like Deepak Kesarkar. He was, Minister of State for Finance. And all these people, please let me finish. I did not interrupt you. Padmaja, can you stop this man from heckling me? This is not fair.
You should tell all those facts.
ठीक है, रोइए. चलिए रोना शुरू कर दीजिए. जोर से रोना शुरू कर दीजिए. Because you have a bad habit.
अरे रोना तो आप लोगों को भी पड़ेगा. जोर का क्या हम लोग तो काफी कुछ रुलवाएंगे.
चलिए रोना शुरू कर दीजिए. जब आपका रोना
चिंता करते हैं
मैं बात कर
अभी तो शुरू हुआ है.
पद्मजा जी, when he stops crying, I will make my point.
Okay. In anticipation of BJP crying, at least let them finish their point, sir. Yes, you are gloating, let them cry, but let her finish her point. Yes, Sanju Verma.
पद्मजा, मुझे इस बात का घमंड नहीं पर मुझे ताज्जुब होता है. A party which today rules or call it governs more than 60% of India, which has won more than 80% of every election that it has fought under the aegis of Narendra Modi in the last 8 years. हमें चुनाव हारने वाले लोग टीवी स्टूडियो में बैठकर चुनाव कैसे जीता जाता है, शासन प्रशासन कैसे चलाया जाता है, उस पर भाषण देते हैं. बीजेपी को आपसे भाषण की जरूरत नहीं है, पहले चुनाव जीतो.
Okay, let's ask Vaibhav Purandare. Vaibhav Purandare, the Shiv Sena is saying this is the beginning of the end of the BJP. The BJP is saying this is the beginning of the end of the Thackeray. Who do you think is going to make a beginning and whose end is nigh?
I think the BJP's projection that this is a Shiv Sena government is a politically very smart move, which worsens the crisis for Uddhav Thackera's Shiv Sena. The existential crisis, of course, exists, but it has been made worse today by the elevation of Eknath Shinde as Chief Minister. If you remember, Padmaja, when the rebellion broke out, Uddhav Thackray said in his Facebook Live address that, what are you rebelling for? Are they going to make you the chief minister? I'll be happy to quit if a Shiv Sainik becomes the chief minister. Now the BJP has done exactly that. It has made a hardcore grassroots level Shiv Sainik, a man who rose from the grassroots level, the chief minister of the state. And now there's going to be a great dilemma for Uddhav Thackeray's camp and for every Shiv Sena worker. How do they oppose Eknath Shinde as the chief minister? How do they oppose this government? How do they go forward campaigning in the BMC elections, which is going to be the lifeline for the Shiv Sena? The BMC elections are due in October this year. Very significantly, Eknath Shinde is a Maratha. Marathas comprise 30%, around 30% of Maharashtra's population. And if the BJP wants to create a rainbow coalition of castes, including the SCs and STs, then a Maratha face will be much more acceptable in order to create that rainbow coalition than, say, a Brahmin face at the moment.
But since you spoke of caste, let me bring in, what about the 10% Brahmins? Won't they feel slighted that a Devendra Fadnavis from a CM becomes a deputy? What about that 10%?
At the moment, they are going to feel slightly dejected, no doubt, but they are also acutely aware of the fact that, number one, the BJP isn't deserting them, because the BJP has always been known as a party of upper caste, which has done plenty of social engineering to include various sections of society. And number two, Devendra Fadnavis is only 51 and he is in it for the long haul, just as the BJP as a party is in it for the long haul. So by projecting Eknath Shinde, it is targeting the Shiv Sena, the Uddhav Thackeray camp in the Shiv Sena on the one hand, and worsening the existential crisis for that party.
It's
And
interesting
number
you
two,
mentioned-
also
Yes.
targeting the Congress and the NCP, which relies on a large part on the Maratha support base that it has.
Interesting you mention about an existential crisis, because the picture that was put out today by Uddhav Thackeray's youngest son, in a sense, seemed to be very, very emblematic, almost like walking into the sunset. Masterstroke, Kapil Madan?
Well, I would like to make two quick points here. I was hearing Mr. Padmaja's press conference, and Mr. Padmaja during his press conference raised the issue that Shiv Sena has gone with the NCP and therefore they have betrayed the legacy of Balasaheb Thackeray. Now it is a case of God calling the kettle black, because he is the same man who at 5:30 in the morning went ahead with the so-called support of Ajit Pawar and the NCP, took oath of the CM. So I don't know from where he gets the...
Sir, that is water in the Arabian Sea now. That is over. Now you have a Shiv Sena who has been in politics 25 years, from a corporator to an MLA 4 times. He is the chief minister. When you had a chance, Balasaheb always said, I don't want to be CM, I will make a Shiv Sena the chief minister. He never became CM. Today, Eknath Shinde has been made chief minister. Vaibhav Purandare wants to quickly respond to you. Vaibhav Purandare wants to quickly respond to you.
He's not given me a chance to complete.
In fact, the Shiv Sena led by Uddhav Thackeray has been saying that the BJP has been lusting for power in Maharashtra.
Yeah.
And by making Eknath Shinde the chief minister, what they have truly demonstrated with consummate political skill is that they are not really lusting for power, and this accusation is not true. So when we are talking of Fadnavis's early morning swearing in, that was truly an acute embarrassment for the BJP. But now things have turned around so much that the BJP has now created an acute embarrassment for the Uddhav Thackeray camp in the Shiv Sena.
Yes, go on, Kapil Madan, respond.
So, Padmajaji, the point I was trying to make here is that they are saying that they have, gone ahead with the legacy of Balasaheb Thackeray by making Mr. Shinde as the CM. Had it been the case that they truly wanted to honor Balasaheb Thackeray's legacy, what stopped them at the first instance making Uddhav Thackeray as the CM? They never at that point in time in 2019, they never were in agreement of that kind of an arrangement. Rather than they betrayed Shiv Sena, went ahead, and let me tell you, रात की अंधेरे के अंदर ये चोरी छुपे काम हुआ और सुबह 5 बजे ओथ हो गई. So now to say, and they want to take a moral high ground that they are doing this because there is an ideology. And let me also tell you, the same argument applies for Mr. Shinde also. Had it been the case that he was shifting the ship because of ideological reasons, what stopped at the first instance? Shinde could have revolted at the first instance when NCP and Congress and Shiv Sena came forward. You could have said that no, we have an ideological difference. And mind you, there was one MLA who did that.
Sanju Verma, quick battle. Then I want to bring in Mr. Srivastav and Professor Mandal. Yes, Sanju Verma.
Okay. Padmaja, I did not want to be drawn into this debate of compromise versus masterstroke, but I think Vaibhav Purandare made some interesting points, and I will just reinforce that yes, having a Maratha as chief minister and having a Brahmin as a deputy chief minister, between the two of them, 42% of the electorate of Maharashtra is with us, but that's a very simplistic argument. I want to focus on the more important thing. This entire thing about देवेंद्र फडणवीस ने सुबह 5 बजे अजीत पवार के साथ ओथ लिया था. He caused an acute embarrassment. If I start counting the embarrassment caused by Congress supporting H.D. Kumaraswamy only to have that government fall in less than 15 months, the list is endless. But I want to say one very important thing. When we went to fight the assembly elections in 2019, BJP and Shiv Sena, it was under the aegis of Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister and Devendra Fadnavis as the potential Chief Minister. From there to now be in a situation where we are saying we are sacrificing our Chief Ministerial candidate for the greater good shows that हम सत्ता के भूखे नहीं हैं. And if politics is about perception, we scored many brownie points. But if politics is about perception, then Uddhav Thackeray was asked to bend. He chose to crawl in front of Sonia Gandhi, the very party which doubted the veracity of Lord Ram and filed a petition in the Supreme Court, has time and again mocked Veer Savarkar.
And speaking of mocking, here is what, just by the way, after the alliance was broken up, Professor Manojit Mandal, NCP workers were cheering, saying there is only one tiger in all of Maharashtra and it is Sharad Pawar, Sharad Pawar. So when the Ajit Pawar and Fadnavis government was broken up, everyone called it a masterstroke. Now this would be a bigger masterstroke, point number one. And then you had people like Sanjay Raut. Here is what he said to Amit Shah inside Parliament. Listen.
जिस स्कूल में आप पढ़ते हो हम उस स्कूल के हेडमास्टर है, आपको बताना चाहता हूं। जिस स्कूल में आप पढ़ते हो हम उस स्कूल के हेडमास्टर है, आपको बताना चाहता हूं।
पनीर देवेंद्र फडणवीस क्या करेगा? महाराष्ट्र एक तरफ और देवेंद्र फडणवीस। पनीर देवेंद्र फडणवीस क्या करेगा? महाराष्ट्र एक तरफ और देवेंद्र फडणवीस। पनीर देवेंद्र फडणवीस क्या करेगा? महाराष्ट्र एक तरफ और देवेंद्र फडणवीस।
So now who's the school child and who's the headmaster, Professor Mandal?
First of all, how did Uddhav Thackeray was driven out? A good man and a good artist and a fascinating chief minister in the making. It was because of BJP's money changers. And
Sir, I don't know about why you find people fascinating.
I want to know. I'm making this charge on national television.
Okay.
No.
Oh my God.
Let me make this charge on your TV.
Okay.
Why do ED and CBI and IT are raiding these MLA's house, or they are talking about their bank accounts and so on and so forth? I'm making this charge that these people were
But that is your
bought
charge.
by
That is
BJP.
neither here nor there.
Okay.
The question is, today Uddhav Thackeray has been outsmarted, outfoxed and outnumbered.
BJP is known for doing this. Have you forgotten? Have you forgotten what they did in Gujarat? During the Rajya Sabha election,
Sir, there are 39 MLAs over here who have clearly not got their due. And just by the way, just a second, since we are talking about how there were these lovely people being treated in the most dignified fashion inside their parties, let me actually tell you how these MLAs were referred to by one of the closest aides to the Chief Minister. Here is what Sanjay Raut has been saying about the people whom Uddhav Thackeray said, come talk to me, I love you. Sanjay Raut says, ये लोग जो कि गुवाहाटी में बैठे हैं, they are like nachaniyas who are dancing before the person who is playing the drums. वो नचनिया की तरह हैं. ये लोग जो गुवाहाटी में बैठे हैं, इनको अपने बाप के नाम पे वोट मांगने चाहिए. Then Sanjay Raut says, जो लोग असम गए हैं, उनके कितने बाप हैं? 40 bodies will be brought back to Mumbai and they will be taken straight for a post-mortem. And then you say they didn't go away because they felt insulted, they went away because ED की रेड पड़ रही थी. अरे आप उसको दिन रात गाली बोल रहे हो, तो क्या करेगा वो आदमी? भागेगा ही ना. प्रोफेसर मंडल.
No, इसके साथ इसका क्या ताल्लुकात है?
इसका ताल्लुकात ये है that you have mistreated them. They are saying we are not being heard, we are not being given an audience, we are being treated like second-rate citizens. So they walked away.
Guwahati hotels in
इसमें ED का क्या लेना देना है?
Hotel? Who paid their bill? Who paid their bill?
Maybe they paid their own bill. I don't know. Do you have evidence to the contrary?
ED का क्या लेना देना है?
आपको कैसे पता अमित शाह ने बिल दिया?
क्या लेना देना है?
हो सकता है एकनाथ शिंदे ने खुद अपना बिल दिया.
सेफ ऑपोजिशन पार्टी के साथ है ना. ईडी के लेना देना शुभेंदु अधिकारी के साथ नहीं है. शुभेंदु अधिकारी को तो भी उनके खिलाफ
Sir, why are you running around the
लेकिन नहीं चल रहा है.
Just a
लेना
second.
देना यही तो बात कर रहे हैं.
अरे why are you running around the point? The point is very simple. You had 2 years ago the Shiv Sena pulling a fast one, or rather Uddhav Thackeray pulling a fast one on the BJP, and today the shoe is on the other foot because in 2.5 years you could not control your MLAs. You were not able to carry out governance or to run a government, and they fled the coup.
I need to make a quick point, please.
They are not Shiv Senas. They are not Shiv Sena's MLAs. They are BJP's MLAs. And the BJP is going to be the super CM, I tell you.
Okay.
It's not the Shiv Sainik who has become the... Look
Okay,
at
so
this
if
kind of
BJP is going to be super CM, just before Sanju Verma responds, let me just ask you this. Why do you say BJP will be super CM? Why do you say BJP will be super CM?
And the real Shiv Senas are with with Mr. Thackeray.
Padmaja bhai, इनको इतना वक्त दे दिया है, he is not making any coherent.
Okay, just a second, Sanju Verma. Just a second. 10 minutes more, 10 seconds more of silence. Let me just ask you, Professor Mandal, why do you say BJP will be super CM? Why do you say BJP will be super CM?
It is amply clear. It is amply clear. BJP is a power-hungry party. They are looking at 2024 for the parliamentary election.
I mean, it wasn't clear to me. So let me just ask you. Let me just throw out a number there before Sanju Verma responds. So if you are saying that BJP with 106 MLAs is going to be the super CM, then going by your logic, sir, with 53 MLAs of the NCP and 44 MLAs of the Congress, if these two parties were ready to support Uddhav Thackeray, who right now has just about 20 odd MLAs, then even Uddhav Thackeray would be a puppet CM, no? If he's got just about 20-25 MLAs with him and he's still being supported by the NCP, which has 53 MLAs, then he would also be a puppet of the NCP. Sanju Verma, respond.
Okay. Padmaja, now I don't want to be interrupted. I did not interrupt Mr. Mondal. You know, I will say one thing. This whole narrative that BJP has been abusing and misusing the enforcement directorate. Padmaja, I refuse to debate. You can ask this man to whine.
One by one. Yes, please go on.
I will speak.
One by one. Go on.
The narrative that the enforcement directorate and the CBI are handmaidens of the BJP, this is a whole lot of hogwash, and I'll tell you why. Do you want to speak, Mr. Mondal? Then I'll keep quiet. You can continue.
He is quiet, Sanju Verma. Go on.
Okay. Anil Deshmukh, when he was charged with extortion, allegations of extortion, everybody said Anil Deshmukh is holier than thou. Anil Deshmukh's bail plea was cancelled by none other than Bombay High Court. Not once, 4 times.
Okay.
When Nawab Malik was arrested for having close links with Dawood Ibrahim, his bail plea was cancelled. By whom? By the Bombay High Court. Sanjay Rathod, the forest minister, he was asked to leave because of suicide of TikTok star Pooja Chavan, which is apparently a murder. Dhananjay Munde of the NCP. He is facing charges of assaulting his own sister-in-law and is incidentally the Women and Child Development. He was the Women and Child Development Minister in the NVA. So the fact is the NVA has not covered itself in glory. Quickly, I'll tell you one more thing. You know, the other very important thing that you need to know is that in the last 5 years, Padmaja, it is not just the BMC, where Shiv Sena and BJP has 82. Look at Pune. Today in Pune Municipal Corporation, which has been the NCP's bastion, we have 41 seats, NCP has 18 seats. Okay. Look at Pimpri Chinchwad, which was the NCP bastion. We have 31 seats, NCP has 22 seats. Look at
what is
Akola,
your point?
Which has been the 1 minute, I'm coming to my point. Look at Akola. Congress has 12 seats, BJP has 46 seats. I'm saying beat Congress, beat Shiv Sena, beat NCP. We have taken away vote share and seats from every major party in Maharashtra, and that is what has rattled them. So it is not as if BJP is power hungry. We've been working on a strategy on the ground for the last many years, and that is bearing results.
Okay, Mr. Srivastava, this is a strategy on the ground for many years, and on top of it comes the cherry on this cake. A cherry by the name of Eknath Shinde.
You've asked this question to me, madam?
Yes, Mr. Srivastava.
One thing is very correct. Now the MVA government is not in power. We lost the government. It's fact. But the thing is not this. More important is this: why BJP has taken this decision after 31 months. Why they have when they wanted to make it chief minister from the Shiv Sena. Why those people have not taken this decision in 19? If they have taken the decision at that time, so there was then there will be no hanky panky.
19 में डिसीजन तो उद्धव जी ने लिया था ना?
ना, मैं आपसे नहीं, एक मिनट, संजू जी मैं बात कर लूं अगर आप इजाजत दें।
हाँ, बोलिए।
देखिए 2019 में बीजेपी और शिव सेना ने साथ चुनाव लड़ा था, इसको कोई डिनाई कर रहा है क्या? कोई नहीं कर सकता। लेकिन क्या ऐसा हुआ, हम लोग तो उस समय ना तो शिवसेना के साथ थे ना बीजेपी के साथ थे, हम लोगों ने तो अपने चुनाव लड़े थे। लेकिन हुआ क्या कि बीजेपी ने जो वायदा किया था शिवसेना से, जो कहा जाता है बंद कमरे में, आदरणीय उद्धव ठाकरे साहब ने भी कहा, दूसरे नेताओं ने भी कहा कि बाला साहब
अमित शाह ने डिनाई किया कि ऐसा कभी बात नहीं हुई थी कि 2.5 साल का रोटेशन होगा।
यही तो मैं आपसे कहना चाहता हूं कि ये दोनों में फर्क आ गया ना। एक आदमी कुछ कह रहा था, दूसरा कुछ कह रहा था। अगर बीजेपी ठीक समझती थी कि उनको शिवसैनिक को ही बनाना है चीफ मिनिस्टर, तो उस समय कोई क्या कह रहा था ये इशू नहीं है, पर बीजेपी ने डिसीजन क्यों नहीं लिया, ये 31 महीने बाद क्यों लिया?
Vaibhav Purandare, how do you respond to this? That if you really wanted to honor a real Shiv Sainik, you could have honored Eknath Shinde in 2019. उनको बात करो, उनको बताने दीजिए, उनको बताने दीजिए, आपका पॉइंट समझ गए। Vaibhav Purandare.
In 2019, when the MVA government was being formed, Sharad Pawar, the NCP president, made it abundantly clear to Uddhav Thackeray that only he would be accepted as the chief minister of the MVA coalition.
No, he doesn't mean the MVA. He is saying जब युति की सरकार थी, जब शिवसेना बीजेपी की सरकार थी, तो instead of Mr. Fadnavis, you should have made Eknath Shinde the CM then.
Well, at that time, the agreement was very clear between BJP and Sena, and that had been the agreement in existence from Balasaheb Thackeray's times for more than 25 years, that the party that got more seats got the chief minister's post. That is what happened in 1995. The Shiv Sena got more seats, so Manoj Joshi became the Shiv Sena's chief minister. In 2014, the BJP got many more seats than the Shiv Sena, so the BJP got its chief minister.
बताइए, आपको जवाब मिल गया ब्रजमोहन जी?
नहीं मिला ना। ये जवाब है क्या? जवाब मैं ये जानना चाहता हूं, इसका मतलब बीजेपी ने उस समय झूठ बोला था कि हमने कोई वायदा नहीं किया, आज उस वायदे को पूरा किया है। इसका मतलब कि बीजेपी ने अपने साथी को चीट किया था, तभी तो आज उन्होंने इस बात को माना है। दूसरी बात, सबसे बड़ा सेटबैक है आदरणीय देवेंद्र फडणवीस साहब को। वो कहते थे मैं समुंदर हूं, समुंदर के पास कोई मकान मत बनाना। बीजेपी ने उनको नदी बना दिया, और नदी से वो नाले कब बन जाएगी पता नहीं।
तो ये बताइए कि अशोक चव्हाण भी मुख्यमंत्री थे, आपने उनको मंत्री बना दिया,
तो आज की बात
आपने क्यों उनको नदी से नाला बना दिया? ये क्या बात हुई?
मैं आज की बात कर रहा हूँ,
मैं भी आज की बात कर रही हूँ। अशोक चव्हाण भी तो कल तक मंत्री थे, वो पहले मुख्यमंत्री रहे, आपने उनको मंत्री क्यों बना दिया?
पद्मजा जी, कितनी कंफ्यूज पार्टी है कि चीफ मिनिस्टर बनाते हैं और देवेंद्र फडणवीस क्या बोलते हैं, मैं सरकार से बाहर रहूंगा। क्या हुआ फिर? क्यों आ गए सरकार के अंदर?
बताइए संजू वर्मा।
चाल चरित्र क्यों नहीं?
संजू वर्मा, यस।
2 घंटे जो जोश में भाषण
Now please, अभी चुप हो जाइए।
2 घंटे में भूल गए बेचारे।
Padmaja, you have to moderate the debate.
संजू वर्मा, यस।
I did not want to make this dirty because we've had some light moments and we've shared some laughs on your debate. But now let me remind Mr. Brijmohan Srivastava, आपने देवेंद्र फडणवीस के ऊपर टिप्पणी की, तो मैं आपको बता दूं, देवेंद्र फडणवीस is the only chief minister since 1995 to actually, the BJP under him got 3-digit seats, 106 in 2019, and the only chief minister after Vasant Rao Naik, a non-Maratha, to complete full 5 years. The last time a non-Maratha had completed full 5 years was under Vasant Rao Naik from 1963 to 1975. इसलिए फडणवीस जी के ऊपर टिप्पणी करना बंद करिए। But Padmaja, why we took so long? I will tell you that. Can you please ask this man to keep quiet?
Okay. Very quickly, please let her finish. Brijmohan ji, बताइए. Quickly, 30 seconds.
Why we took so long? There are 2 key dates here. On June 10th, we had the June 10th, 2022, which nobody is talking of. We had the Rajya Sabha election. Effectively, our strength in the House went up from 106 to 124. And then on June 20th, we had the MLC elections. There are effective strength went up from 124 to 134. And the saga unfolded from June 21st. So basically, when we saw that the numbers were on our side, when we saw the Uddhav Thackeray government had seen cross-voting, when we saw that people had reduced Uddhav Thackeray's government to effectively a minority, why should we not have taken the claim?
Okay.
That's my limited
So you have
point.
taken the claim, you have taken the plunge. Let's see what the strategy is going to be in the next 2.5 years, or more importantly, as most political watchers would be interested in knowing, in the long term, has the BJP sacrifice in the short term to make gains in the long term, or as Shah Rukh Khan famously said, हार के जीतने वाले को ही बाजीगर कहते हैं. On that note, thank you very much all gentlemen and Sanju Verma for having joined us. Could the BJP be the bazigar of Maharashtra?